Yo, what is up, everyone? Today I want to talk about the Sabbath day, the fourth commandment in the Bible. Now, a lot of people say the laws are done away with, but if you look at Matthew chapter 5, verse 17 through 19, it shows that Jesus didn't come to destroy the law, but he came to fulfill them. So, without further ado, let's get into it. The first thing I want to start off is a fun fact. Saturday is actually the seventh day of the week. It said this in Exodus chapter 20, verse 9 through 11. 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work, but on the seventh day, which is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God, in it thou shalt not do any work, though nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. And next up, the Sabbath day is actually from Friday sunset to Saturday sunset. A lot of people think it's Sunday because of the programming we live in, where you go to church on Sundays, but that's not actually the case. It said this in Leviticus chapter 23, verse 32. It shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest, and ye shall afflict your souls. In the 9th day of the month, at even, from even unto even, shall ye celebrate your Sabbath. And even to even means evening to evening. And the day before the Sabbath day is called prep day, so you can prepare beforehand, for example, food, water, supplies. And I'll get into why later, but it said this in Mark chapter 15, verse 42. And now when the even was come, because it was the preparation, that is, the day before the Sabbath. It also said this in Luke chapter 23, verse 54. In that day was the preparation, and the Sabbath drew on. Okay, now the first rule of the Sabbath day is to observe it, which means to keep it. It said this in Exodus chapter 20, verse 8. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. And why did God say remember? Because a lot of people will forget. Look around. Who's keeping the Sabbath day? Who remembers it? Look at your friends, family, go on social media from Friday evening to Saturday evening. Are they keeping it? No, they're going out clubbing, just going out doing whatever. So that's why he said remember it. The next verse is Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 11. And I gave them my statutes and shewed them my judgment, which if a man do, he shall even live in them. Next up is Leviticus chapter 19, verse 3. Ye shall fear every man his mother and his father, and keep my Sabbaths. I am the Lord your God. Now he's speaking to the children of Israel. And just because you're not an Israelite, if you take on the customs of I don't even know if I could say this word, but the JEWS, then you're spiritually them. The next one, Leviticus chapter 26, verse 2. Ye shall keep my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Lord. Exodus chapter 20, verse 9 through 11, like I said earlier. 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work, but on the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Exodus chapter 31, verse 15. 6 days may work be done, but in the seventh is the Sabbath of rest, holy to the Lord. Whosoever doeth any work in the Sabbath day he shall surely be put to death. Now we're not in the old law anymore, we're under grace that Jesus gave us when he died for us on the tree. But we don't abuse the grace. And before we get into it, if you break these laws I'm about to list on the Sabbath day, are you going to go to hell? No, you're under grace. Let's pretend you're in a situation when you have to do what I'm about to list on this list. Like, there's absolutely no choice. You're in a situation, you have to do it. There's no other way. Are you going to go to hell? No, you're under grace. The next verse is Exodus chapter 34, verse 21. 6 days thou shalt work, but on the seventh day thou shalt rest, in earing time and in harvest thou shalt rest. Even God took the day off when he created the earth. So that means we gotta do it as well. Because we're not better than God. We'll never be better than God. The next one, Leviticus chapter 23 verse 3. 6 days shall work be done, but on the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest. In holy convocation you shall not do work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. Deuteronomy chapter 5 verse 13 through 14. 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thine ox, nor thine ass, or any of thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates, that thy manservant and thy maidservant may rest as well as thou. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, there's been times where I broke the Sabbath day. I went to play basketball with my brother and he offered it to me, so please don't make my mistake. Please keep the Sabbath day. The next thing you can't do on the Sabbath day is no cooking. It said this in Exodus chapter 35 verse 3. Ye shall kindle no fire throughout your habitations upon the Sabbath day. So that means you can't cook on your oven, your stove. I believe you can use your microwave because it's electric. But if you do your research, it's not that healthy for you. But if you want to use it, you can use it because it's electric. But just don't use your grill, oven, or stove. Exodus chapter 16 verse 23. And he said unto them, that is that which the Lord hath said. Tomorrow is the rest of the holy Sabbath unto the Lord. Bake that which ye will bake today, and seethe that ye will seethe, and that which remaineth over lay up for you to be kept until the morning. So I remember I was working at Zaxby's, and when I was getting into the truth, I was researching about the Sabbath day. And I remember I used to work like Friday, Saturday was like the main Sabbath day. I used to work on those days, and I prayed to God, God, can you please help me keep your Sabbath day? I want to honor you. And I ended up putting in my 2 weeks. And after that, I started keeping the Sabbath day because I wanted to honor God. So if you're in a situation where you have a job and you work on the Sabbath day, what I would do, I would just ask God to help you out because you want to honor him. Or you can just ask your boss, hey, can you not make me work on these days? But personally, me, I would ask God either for like another job or just change my schedule to where I don't work on Friday to Saturday so I can honor the commandment. The next thing you can't do is buy or sell. It said this in Nehemiah chapter 10 verse 31. And if the people of the land bring ware or any victuals on the Sabbath day to sell, that we would not buy it of them on the Sabbath or on the holy day, and that we would leave the seventh year in the exaction of every debt. Nehemiah chapter 13 verse 15 through 17. In those days saw I in Judah some treading wine presses on the Sabbath, and bringing in sheaves, and ladding asses, as also wine, grapes, and figs, and all manner of burdens, which they brought into Jerusalem on the Sabbath day. And I testified against them in the day wherein they sold victuals. There dwelt men of Tyre also therein, which brought fish and all manner of ware, and sold on the Sabbath unto the children of Judah, and in Jerusalem. Then I contended with the nobles of Judah, and said unto them, what evil thing is this that ye do, and profane the Sabbath day? So God was not happy when they're selling on the Sabbath day. I'm not gonna lie, there's been like 2 times off the top of my head where I bought on the Sabbath day. One is on Mother's Day, and one, I'm not gonna lie, probably about like a week ago. When after I did it, I felt so guilty. I was like, dang, why did I buy? Like, it's a Sabbath day. But I just repented and just moved on. So don't get too hard on yourself if you break these rules on the Sabbath day. Like you forgot or something, just repent and do your best to never do it again. Now the next thing is a reward for keeping it. When you do keep the Sabbath day, you get blessed and rewarded by God. It said this in Isaiah chapter 58 verse 13-14. If thou turn away thy foot from the Sabbath, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Sabbath a delight, the holy of the Lord honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words. Then shalt thou delight thyself in the Lord, and I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father. For the mouth of the Lord hath spoken it. So make sure you're keeping it, not just for the reward. Yes, that's cool and all, but the main reason you should keep it is to honor God, because it said in John chapter 14, verse 15, if you love me, keep my commandments. The next rule on the Sabbath day is to act selfless. What does that mean? Help people out, people in need. And Jesus did this back then, and the Pharisees, who were religious people, were acting overly religious, saying, Jesus, you're not supposed to work on the Sabbath day. Well, that is true, but you still have to act selfless. If you see someone in need, you gotta help them out. Well, that's gonna do for this video. I hope you got edified by this message. I hope this video makes you want to start doing the Sabbath day and keeping it. Let me guys know which fact surprised you the most, and you can comment down below more facts that you found out about the Sabbath day. And I'm out.